Hi, my name is Travis Gilbert. Look at this. That is stock footage of a city. I don't even know which one. However, I do know that cities are one of the strangest things that human beings ever did. People oftentimes think about cities as a collection of buildings and businesses, houses, and maybe street networks, but that's not really what the city is. The city is what happens inside of those spaces. Cities are just people trying to design a more efficient way to facilitate human connection, which is why this episode and the whole series are sponsored by John Green and the Anthropocene Reviewed, a book of essays about our human-centered planet, available wherever books are sold. Okay, so, look at this. I realize it's literally just a picture of the Earth. However, if you take 1% of the land mass, you end up with the amount of land that human beings have urbanized. Over half the population, just over 4 billion people, live in that dot. The other 4 billion occupy significant amounts of the rest of the planet. About 8,000 years ago, human beings started building the first cities, and we've been moving to them ever since. And I want to know why. In an earlier video of mine, we looked at the bone structure of the first farmers and compared it to a hunter-gatherer. In doing this, you find that hunter-gatherers, the preceding lifestyle, were much healthier. Now, if we compare those farmers to the first urbanites, you find a very similar thing. In fact, you don't even have to use the first urbanites. You go by life expectancy, which I'd like to add is not an effective way of measuring overall health, but this is really cool. You find that most people who lived in rural areas outlived people who live in urban areas until the 2000s. A curve that's not dissimilar from the one 10,000 years ago when human beings learned how to farm and thus changed their life expectancies has been seen in the last century. In fact, the last 22 years within my lifetime. This means that people didn't move to cities because cities were healthier, but that moving to cities made healthier people. I don't mean that to say that cities make us move around more or eat healthier. It's occasionally true and occasionally not, but humanity has gotten healthier regardless because cities have made us more intelligent. Like all of your smartphones, while they may be manufactured in a countryside, were likely designed within a city. Because that smartphone exists and you know how to use it, you have knowledge that people who lived before you couldn't have even imagined. Because someone, or a very large group of people, created it, everyone got a little bit smarter. Some of those patents are going to be for new medical technologies, safer buildings, cleaner energy, or maybe baby incubators. All of which is humanity turning its knowledge into literal years of our lifespan. I used to believe that the most interesting thing that anyone could study was the human brain. While that's still way up there, today I think it's something else. The interaction between human brains. Which is why I'm making this series all about urban spaces, how and why they were built, and how they could be built better. In part because if humanity is to solve all of the tremendous issues that are facing us today, then one of our greatest assets is going to be how efficiently and effectively we work together. And us working together is dependent on us having good cities. This series on our human-centered world was brought to you by a book on our human-centered world. The Anthropocene Reviewed by John Green, a collection of different essays about the human-centered planet. If you're wondering, my personal favorite is not visible in the current lighting. It's the one about the sycamore trees. If you've read it already, comment below and let me know what you thought of it. It's available wherever books or audiobooks are sold. If you're a fan of me, this channel, or just this series, consider supporting on Patreon below. Bye.